across this bridge and loop around by the art project. Thing that looks like a spring mine or whatever up here. Goes to a roundabout. White Settlement Road. There it is. Doesn't look kind of like a spring mine. Some kind of art object. A cylinder-shaped thing. Or some type of spacecraft or something of that nature. It's purple underneath the light right now. As well as under this one as well. Color today. All right, next delivery is 6:25, 6 minutes, 1.7 miles. That's gonna mount quickly right here. So the fair is officially closed today. Hello, wife Morgan. These lights always remind me of the work lights that you see on Hollywood sets. They're very bright, kind of round. Sometimes they use balls of light, so it spills through the ceiling and all the way around the room. Kind of gives it kind of a full effect of light. But they're mostly work lights, but you know, if you're doing a YouTube show, it kind of works in your favor a little bit. So the stock show is still present. They do have quite a bit of cars in the parking lot. And this is probably the indoor portion of the stock show, which is at the A.D.W.C Arena. And it looks like a full house. They call it, yep, they call it the A.D.W.C Arena. I got that right. That's what that is right there. Looks like this is a Linden drop, which is kind of a regular. We get a few regular drops on it. What I remember, what I vlogged, is it looks like, yeah. This one, according to the diagram, yep, it is this one. All right, next delivery is 6:46, 15 minutes, 6.2 miles. mounted traffic far more than usual, and that's just because people slowed it down a little less than regular speed. I'm noticing. That way it's a little safer and there's more stopping point. Well, there's more of an area to stop to. I mean, they have more time to stop, so they create more spacing between the cars in a lot of cases, or most people try to, unless they're Yankee, and then they'll just get like right on your tail. But that's just the difference between Yankee drivers and Southern drivers. Yeah, we're I say we're more careful in weather, especially if it's icy or something. We're going to slow down or just not get on the road at all. And a lot of the Yankees will just plow ahead, you know. It's the way nature is, you know, because it's up there, it's worse weather, you know, especially in the cold weather. That's one of the main reasons why I left the state of Maine, was because I didn't want to deal with that, you know. So I came down here, and I don't have to deal with it as much at all. But we still have weather, though. It's just not as horrible as up north, where it's just, I mean, like really miserable. Like you couldn't even comprehend how miserable traffic is in the winter up north. You wouldn't even begin to comprehend how horrible it is. And when I came back here, I was quite happy. I was quite happy to be here in the South, Texas, you know. Well, no, I'm in North Texas, but from the South, living in Maine, I was quite miserable. And the cool thing is, too, is when I returned back to Texas, I was rewarded because I met my second wife and had 3 children. So I was even way happier than I was living there. I was pretty miserable there. And I came back and I was pretty happy. I was pretty happy to be back. And I think that happiness shined off of me. And my second wife caught on to it. And Angel and I had 3 kids. And everything was just, you know, super happy. This is the Burnett Plaza building right here. I got black and white photographs of that all the way back from high school time. One of the first buildings that I captured on a 35mm camera, a still photo. I even developed it by hand myself. It's this building right here. It's a Burnett Plaza building. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I got the road sign in the photograph as well. As you'll see. It's about right there is where the photograph was taken. And I believe Cherry is in the actual photograph. We did a series of photographs in creative writing class, Bob Reed's creative writing class. Never knew I was going to come back to Fort Worth and do a full-on show. I don't know if anyone predicted that or not. My friend did write a play called Slow Dancers, and the character in it wrote for television. YouTube is not exactly television, but it's close. So maybe he predicted that in some way. And I was one of the lead roles in that little play. Because one of the lines were, "You wrote for television?" And for some reason that got laughs. I don't know why. You know, writing for television. But this is actually YouTube, so, you know, it's kind of close. It's not exactly television, but I mean, it's not NBC, but it is YouTube, and it does. In my book, it counts. It counts, regardless of the views. It counts, you know. And you look at it, there's probably some television shows that only got 10, 20 views back in the day that later on caught on, or, you know, later on did well. You know, not everything's a sensational success, but I frankly don't care. I really don't care about views. Now, I have tried other shows to get a little more views, and you know, I can clearly tell you, if we went to Walt Disney World, it would probably change. This is the old library right here, Fort Worth Library. But not everybody can do that, you know. Not every show gets to go to Walt Disney World. But this is the old library that has closed down, so it's no longer a library. It was the Fort Worth Library right here. They closed it completely down. They still have the other branches, but for some reason the downtown branch, no more library. We also used to skateboard there too back in the day. It was a big skateboarding spot, not inside the library, but on the outside. So I don't know what it's going to become. I don't know. Maybe it can be like a social kind of center for people. I don't know. It's a lot of space. It's like 3 or 4 levels of space. I don't know if it's going to turn into office space or what will happen with it. If you know, leave a comment. I'm still listening to the album Closer by Joy Division. which I find very soothing. I don't know why. Just that kind of music is kind of Texas to Brazil coming up here. Haven't been there. I think it'd be a cool vlog, but they usually will pretty much fill your belly with steak off a skewer. That's what I've heard. They'll just kind of slide it right off the skewer, right onto your plate. There's the courthouse for all you legalistic types that, you know, need to be in there and whatever it is that they do. I frankly, I don't want to get into it. And then we cross here, there's another legalistic building. I'm kind of a John Bunyan fan. He chose, you know, either he chose the world of legality, which is the easy path, or the treacherous path, which is, you know, not listening to worldly wise men and going your kind of your own pathway, you know, which is how America was founded. All right, looks like it's going to lead us to Belknap, or I think it's Belknap. Something, yeah, Belknap. That's people will say Beltnap, but it's actually Belknap. I think it's this, you know, because I think there's another belt line. There's another one, but they kind of mix it between Beltline. It's actually Belknap without the T. Actually with a B-E-L-K-N-A-P, Belknap. But most people would pronounce it Beltnap. I don't know why. I guess it was because of Beltline. That's what I'm thinking. Beltline, which is another road. And actually Irving, and it goes through, there's a road called Beltline, and this one's Belknap. That's what I'm trying to say. Ooh, whoa. Man, that was a lot of water right there, ponding water. We'll just kind of turn in here and keep an eye out for water ponding, which my car cannot take because of the undercarriage. There's the purple light. All right, on this one we have to call for entry. Right off Scenic Hill. And if you know my show, we always take the scenic route. In most cases. Here we go. Oh. Wasn't that convenient? Imagine that. Huh. Okay. So I know this is right here. I think dude was decked out in full Batman pajamas, and I'm not gonna really video that, but just wondering where he got on the Dillard's thing down here. This is a really cool plant. So New York, right now I got some information from Cash Jordan. I think, yeah, it goes by Cash Jordan. If you're military, you can just set up vending. You can vend hot dogs or whatever. You don't need any special license or anything. But once you do get your license and everything to vend, What they have recently done is the Brooklyn Bridge, they've cleared out all the vending machines. Well, they're not vending machines, but they're vendors. They do probably have some machinery on it, but they've basically cleansed all the vendors off of the Brooklyn Bridge. So if you used to sell, let's say you sold hot dogs on the Brooklyn Bridge, you can't do it anymore. Not on the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know about other places in New York City. I'm sure you can still buy a hot dog off the sidewalk in New York City, but not off the Brooklyn Bridge. And I guess the Brooklyn Bridge is kind of a historic landmark, but it's mostly for tourist attractions, people to walk across. So if you were military, you could just set up a hot dog stand if you were a military veteran, and you wouldn't have to prove any kind of vending license. You just show them your military veterans ID card or whatever it is, and they didn't ticket you or anything. But if you had a hot dog stand, you would have to have a vending license if you were non-military. Now the Brooklyn Bridge at this moment right now, it doesn't matter if you're military or not. And there's all these I guess attempted lawsuits against New York State. They want to bring back the hot dog vendors on the Brooklyn Bridge because they made a lot of money. And they would make $70,000 a year just selling hot dogs on the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know what's going to happen. They do have hot dog stands in Fort Worth. They do have them. They do sell. Not a lot of them. And they do have taco trucks occasionally. We might pass one here in a minute. And I don't know about the licensing on a taco truck. Probably just your standard food handling. I don't really know the depths of having a food truck. And I don't know, you probably go to the downtown courthouse and get a vending license. I've got a soliciting license back in the day when I worked for a roofing company, and it wasn't terribly expensive. It was I think $50 or something. And it allowed me to solicit in certain areas. You pick the zone and put it down on a piece of paper, and they give you a license for that zone that you can solicit. This was back when I was selling roofing services and supplies a long time ago. I didn't do it for very long. There should be a food truck coming up right here, right by Luna Azul, or usually is there. Whether it's there or not, I don't know. No, it doesn't look like it's there. But sometimes there's a food truck parked there. When you enter into that area, you're going to enter right past a gas station and Sonic. So, yeah, a good place to put a food truck. They might have put it back up here. We'll see if it's over to the right. But food truck is a competitive business because you're competing with other food truck people. It's like a territorial thing. I don't know how they claim the rights for certain areas to park a food truck and then start, the business. But I don't know. I guess it's not over here either. Maybe during certain times of the day, the food truck is there. All right, still listening to Joy Division's Closer, which really does fit the mood of the rain. They did a little bit of manipulating the sound, making it kind of ambient and changing distortion. But they got that from another band. I can't think of the name of that band. But they did see the Sex Pistols live and then went right into being a band. And they were a band for just a few years. And they became very popular very quick. And here's some food for thought. According to what my ex-mother-in-law said, and I won't say any names, she actually saw the Sex Pistols live. I don't know if I really believe her, but that's what she told me. But she did hang out with the Hells Angels, and I think it was Fifth Chapter back in the day. So she might have. It could have happened. They did tour America. I don't know if they came to Texas. They may have. I'll have to find out. That's how I can tell, But the Hells Angels do travel, and so do the Fifth Chapter. They're bike gangs back in the day. They're more like businesses now, but that's what she told me. So I don't know. I didn't really get to interview her. I think I got one photo of her, and a little bit of video, and she got like really upset. But that was only because it was a family event. We would have Christmas over at her place. That's what she told me. So I think it'd be a cool little interview, but she's very private, and she doesn't like the whole social media scene. So she probably did see them. Not many people did see the Sex Pistols. They did tour over in Europe quite a bit, but in America they only made one big visit here. And to my knowledge, I could be wrong. If you want to correct me, leave a comment. All right, next delivery, 7:23, 4 minutes, 1.8 miles.